Good day, everyone. I am Alex Peralta Furio, a junior high school mathematics teacher in San Roque National High School, Bulusan, Sorsogon, and a Doctor of Philosophy in Mathematics Education student in Sorsogon State University. You can contact me or connect with me using my mobile number 0948-522-1778 or in my Gmail alex.furio@deped.gov.ph. Also, our professor in Qualitative Research, and at the same time my co-author, Dr. Cheryl A. Gilbas, a Professor 5 from Sorsogon State University. The title of our study is The Lived Experiences of Junior High School Mathematics Teachers in the New Normal. For the local of the study, this is where the participants of the study came from. First, in San Roque National High School, San Roque, Bulusan, Sorsogon. Second, Jaime G. Espeña in San Vicente or Buhang, Bulusan, Sorsogon. And Bulusan National High School in Luuban, Bulusan, Sorsogon. The coronavirus pandemic has adverse effects on the progress of global education system. Its major effects include unscheduled closure of schools and the implementation of multiple learning delivery modalities. These effects were felt by all educational institutions, students, parents, and most especially by the educators. In the last quarter of the school year 2021 to 2022, limited face-to-face learning was implemented. This learning modality received both praises and disagreement, and this is the reason why the study will focus on the participants' experiences in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning. The objective of this study determined the lived experiences of the mathematics teachers in the new normal, particularly in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning in terms of delivery of the lesson, assessment method, and intervention or innovation conducted, the coping mechanisms of the mathematics teachers to overcome different challenges they encountered in the implementation of limited face-to-face learning were also determined. The framework represents the flow of the study on the lived experiences of junior high school mathematics teachers in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning in Bulusan, Sorsogon. These experiences specifically focus on three variables, which are the delivery of lessons, assessment methods, and the intervention or innovation conducted during the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning. Coping mechanisms of the mathematics teachers addressing the challenges they have encountered were also identified. Self-efficacy is at the heart of Bandura's social cognitive theory that addresses the relationship between environmental, behavioral, and personal factors. Self-efficacy gave the idea that individuals believe that they are capable of achieving desires or goals. The study was anchored on the belief that all the challenges brought by the pandemic, particularly in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning, the effect brought by this learning modality on the participants, as well as the responses to the negative and positive experiences, were interrelated and must be studied and analyzed properly to arrive in a valid and comprehensive conclusion. A phenomenological study design was employed in this study to discover the lived experiences of the junior high school mathematics teachers in the new normal and how they made meaning out of their experiences. Phenomenology is a theory of the unique that gives an adaptive response to an individual in each particular place, time, and context. Purposive sampling was used in selecting the participants. It is a non-probability sampling method that occurs when the sample is chosen by the judgment of the researcher based on the criteria appropriate to the study. There are 6 participants in this study, comprised of 2 junior high school mathematics teachers, each from the 3 secondary public schools in the municipality of Bulusan, Sorsogon. The participants were identified as teachers who experienced being facilitators or educators in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning. All these public school shifted from modular distance learning to limited face-to-face learning in the fourth quarter of the school year 2021 to 2022. Senior high school teachers, other non-mathematics teachers, and also mathematics teachers from other municipalities were excluded from this study. A letter of invitation containing the objectives of this study and formal consent was sent to the selected participants. The principles of ethical behavior to protect the participants' rights, including autonomy, fidelity, commitment, trust, non-maleficence, and veracity were integrated since there was an actual face-to-face interaction between the researchers and participants. Participants were also oriented that the interviews were recorded and they are allowed to withdraw their participation anytime if they find it inconvenient. A direct method or interview was conducted in gathering data. The questions asked led to the discovery of the participants' experiences in facilitating limited face-to-face learning in the new normal. The specific experiences identified were about the delivery of lessons, assessment methods, and the interventions or innovation conducted. The coping mechanism of the participant to resolve different challenges was also identified. After arranging and finalizing the data, the researchers analyzed the qualitative data and grouped the experiences of the participants into two themes: the positive and negative experiences. It was also incorporated with the exact statements of the participants about their personal experiences in the new normal. The participants' coping mechanism and interventions conducted were also presented. For the results and discussion, let us begin with the positive experiences of junior high school mathematics teacher in the delivery of lessons during limited face-to-face learning. All the participants mentioned that because of the fewer number of students in the classroom compared to the natural classroom setup before the pandemic, students today are very participative. The population of the students per teacher is associated with class size. The ratio of the number of students to teachers, or simply the class size, is significantly correlated. It means that the smaller classes experience better teaching and learning. So according to one of the participants, I am not distracted but rather motivated in delivering the lessons since the number of students in the classroom is not exceeding 25% or group compared before wherein we are accommodating almost more than 50 students in a classroom. So that is according to participant A. According to participant B, the classroom became more conducive to learning. I have observed that the students are no longer shy during a recitation or in sharing their thoughts. This is what I am looking for before the pandemic. So the statements of participant A and B imply that one of the positive effects of the implementation of limited face-to-face learning in the delivery of lesson is that it became more convenient for both teachers and students. The classroom became more conducive to learning and safer, and students became more active and confident in participating during the discussion and in making clarification or asking questions related to the topic. Let us now proceed to the positive experiences on the assessment method during the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning. Teachers experience different issues and challenges in the process of making, checking, and evaluating students' output during modular distance learning. In fact, according to participant C, there are no longer incomplete activity or output submitted in limited face-to-face learning. This is because clarifications are being conducted during the making of the output. So the sample statement of participant C is a proof that teachers are struggling during modular distance learning, particularly in assessing the students' learning. Teacher experienced different issues and challenges in the process of making, checking, and evaluating students' output. So all the participants stated that seeing the students accomplishing different outputs personally is already one of the good factors in assessing the learning of the students. Next is the positive experiences of junior high school mathematics teachers in the intervention conducted during the limited face-to-face learning. The information they gathered during the face-to-face learning, including remarks and performances of the students in mathematics, serves as their basis on what intervention or innovation must be conducted to resolve the gap in learning. The limited face-to-face learning setup provided convenience to the teachers and put them away from the risk of being outside to their duties. So according to participant F, it is easier now to conduct an intervention since we have direct communication or interaction with the students. Classroom, which serves as venues for the intervention, are also available compared before that we are using waiting shed, barangay chapel, and other possible places or buildings. So, based on the experiences of participant F, the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning gave them opportunities in knowing more about the students' capacities or learnings. Let us now proceed to the part 2 of the discussion, which are the negative experiences of the junior high school mathematics teachers in the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning. So let's start with the delivery of lesson. Some of the effective teaching strategies that are commonly applied by teachers were restricted due to the still existing pandemic. According to participant B, what is running in my mind as of now is that the word limited refers not only to the required number of students in the classroom, but also to the actions needed inside the classroom, as well as the limitation on the teaching learning pedagogies or strategies to be used. The statement of participant B testified that there are changes in the learning teaching process because of the restrictions. Teachers had to adapt to the changes being implemented by the Department of Education to bridge academic lapses. However, it did not become easy for both the teachers and students to reach their respective goals, mainly because of the inconducive learning context and insufficient time and materials for the teaching learning process. So let us proceed to the intervention conducted. According to participant A, the required number of students per group or set must not exceed 25. That is why all set A was scheduled every Monday and Wednesday, while set B was scheduled every Tuesday and Thursday. And because of the gap created by the modular distance learning, we have identified many students that must undergo the remedial class. Because of the 2 days schedule per set, we also need to conduct a 2 days intervention per week. Therefore, we still need to exert effort for the preparation. So the statement of participant A implies that the teachers who conducted or planning to conduct an intervention have to sacrifice another day or time that they could have used to accomplish other important school tasks. According to the other four participants, this is the reason why they were not able to conduct an intervention. Let us now proceed to the identified coping mechanisms based on the responses of our participants. Changes in the education system cannot be avoided. The design of the teaching learning pedagogies, modalities, and the curriculum itself depend on the needs of the administrators, the stakeholders, as well as educators. One of the examples is the shifting from modular distance learning to limited face-to-face learning to address different issues such as learning gaps, which are identified as a result of the modular distance learning for almost 2 years implementation. However, the implementation of the limited face-to-face learning also received praises and disagreement. Teachers therefore strive hard to overcome the challenges they encountered. The coping mechanisms of the participants to ease the effects of the challenges they encountered in the implementation of the limited face-to-face are as follows. First is the time management. The time management stated by participants include creating an effective balance, schedule of activities, and prioritizing all the work-related activities instead of doing other non-essential things. So according to one of the participant A, what I have done to successfully teach and conduct intervention during limited face-to-face learning is making an effective schedule of activities. According to the second participant, I always make sure that I have finished my priority list a week before each conduct or submission such as the making and printing of learning activity sheet, the materials to be used in the discussion, checking of students' answers in the activities, and even the school forms needed. So the time management stated by participant A and F includes creating an effective and balanced schedule of activities and prioritizing all the work-related activities instead of doing other non-essential things. So next is the flexibility in work. So according to participant D, for me, being flexible in our work is one of our weapons in adapting to these different obstacles. Also, according to one of the participants, there are so many demands in our field, different school forms, and different designations or assignments. It is our job to accept all these tasks, so we need to adjust. We need to be flexible. So the statement of participant D and E proves that when teachers are flexible, they are resilient and responsive to change and different challenges. Flexibility increases teachers' work or experience appreciation, loyalty in the profession, productivity in goals, and engagement or interaction. And the last identified coping mechanism is being optimistic. According to participant B, just like Miss Universe 2018 Catriona Gray, we should be able to see silver linings in challenging situations. Also, according to participant C, there are times that we have given so many tasks or assignments and some of them are not related to the teaching learning process. But I always believe in my goal, in my insight, in my abilities. That is why I always expect good things to happen, and it happened. The statements of participant B and C justify that the teachers who are optimists are happier with their lives and job than the pessimists. They can recover from challenges and disappointment easier. So overall, being an optimistic help the teachers improve their mental fitness. So for the conclusion, the implementation of limited face-to-face learning is beyond comparable to modular distance learning. Its implementation provides more opportunities for both teacher and students to fulfill the learning gaps that existed in almost 2 years implementation of modular distance learning. It was determined that through the limited face-to-face learning, the classroom became more conducive to learning, students became participative compared to the students' performance before the pandemic, and the delivery of lessons became convenient to both teachers and students. Teachers were able to identify a valid and reliable basis for assessing students' performance since the feedbacking, clarifications, and other processes can be done face-to-face. Interventions or innovation can be planned and implemented because the schools are already open to the students for the teaching learning process. It is easier for the teachers to identify the participants and venue for the interventions following their guidelines and criteria. However, it was also revealed that the implementation of limited face-to-face has also negative effects, except for the assessment methods. These include the limitation, even in teaching learning strategies, to be administered to avoid physical contact, and also the efforts of, or sacrifices to be exerted in the conduct of intervention or innovation because of the required number of students in every classroom. Teachers strive hard to ease the negative effects of limited face-to-face learning. The coping mechanisms they have applied are having proper or appropriate time management, being flexible in work, and having a positive mindset or being optimistic. For the recommendations, the teachers must have proper or appropriate time management, be flexible in work, and have a positive mindset or be optimistic. The participants suggested that the Department of Education must continue implementing and supporting the limited face-to-face learning. Also, school administrators must continue providing the needs of teachers and students for a better and safe teaching learning process. So here are my references. Thank you.